Good morning and welcome to Redeemer Lutheran Church. I'm Pastor Gary Lodeholt. This week we're talking about the I am sayings of Jesus, places where Jesus takes something we are familiar with, compares himself to it, and as he does, we experience and understand God in new ways. Today, Jesus says, I am the light of the world. In John 8:12, it says, again, Jesus spoke to them saying, I am the light of the world. Whoever follows me will never walk in darkness, but will have the light of life. When this story happens, just before it, they had brought to him a woman caught in adultery, and they were ready to stone her. But Jesus said, let the one among you who is without sin cast the first stone. And that's interesting because thinking that one doesn't have sin is a kind of blindness, a kind of darkness. Then Jesus goes on to flesh out this theological point, saying, I am the light of the world. It's important here to remember that at this time, Jesus is in Jerusalem and celebrating the Feast of the Tabernacles. A few weeks ago, we learned that this festival is something like our Thanksgiving holiday. It celebrated the goodness of God and how God had blessed their harvest. Light was an important aspect of their celebration. In fact, part of it was to light 4 large lamps in the temple, and the people danced before them with torches, which meant that Jerusalem was filled with light. With these words, Jesus is declaring that he is the true fulfillment of their joy. God has blessed them with him. The harvest they reap in him is the true harvest. And suddenly the old rite they were celebrating has been given new meaning. At the Feast of Tabernacles, light illuminated all of Jerusalem. But Jesus' light goes beyond that. Jesus is the light of the world. It's also important to remember that light was a significant part of the pillar of fire and smoke that led the people on their way during the Exodus, when they were delivered by God from slavery in Egypt. Light was a symbol of their salvation. Likewise, in Jesus, God is saving anew. Light has long been a symbol of the Word of God and of wisdom, and Jesus brings that as well. And you may remember that in the very first verses of this gospel, the first verses of John, Jesus is called the light of all people. Jesus comes to give light and life. And then there's this. God's first words in the Bible were, let there be light. Let there be love. Let there be grace. Let there be salvation. Let there be Jesus. Thanks for watching. And remember to let this day belong to God.